Supersets are a fantastic way for you to really dig deep into those muscles and to create even more work, helping to round out those muscle bellies, helping you to slice into the definition so you start to see different dimensions of different musculature as you're working to keep your nutrition on point and reducing that body fat on top. Remember, we got to build the muscle out while we're reducing body fat on top through the nutrition. It's twofold. If we're not doing the work in the gym, we're not feeding ourselves right, but we're still seeing scale weight drop, unfortunately, that means we are losing mass, but probably retracting that muscle as well. So in the end, the body fat is still the same. And so you may be smaller and wear a smaller size, but you're not keeping the muscle to really develop that musculature and that physique of how you look, that tightness when you feel your muscles. So supersets are going to take you to that next level, and I'm super excited for you to do this. So there's a few different ways of doing supersets, and I want to explain them to you because you may see several different types on your plan. So first of all, what's a superset? A superset is when you take a muscle or an exercise for a muscle and you stack another exercise right behind it with no rest in between. That means if you're looking at your plan and you see two exercises back to back, if you need to think ahead and get some equipment, buy another piece of equipment so you can do that and you're not running over to a bench or you're running over to the dumbbell rack, that is critical, thinking ahead and really looking at your plan. So exercise 1, exercise 2, then a rest. That's one set. Then back to it. Exercise 1, exercise 2, rest. That's 2 sets. Exercise 1, exercise 2, rest. That's 3 sets. I think you get the point. So different types of supersets. Number 1 is going to be the same muscle. Okay, so let's take delts for instance. If I was going to do a superset, maybe exercise 1 was a military press, exercise 2, an upright row. Same muscle, 2 different exercises completed back to back, puts that extra spark into the muscle, extra depletion. You're going to reach exhaustion faster. You're going to really dynamite those muscles. And so you're going to get tired. You're going to build up a lot of lactate in the muscle. And so something I recommend doing is on your rest, you hit those muscles. And I know it's weird, but you've got to help distribute that lactic acid so you can accomplish more work, break down more muscle fibers, so as you're eating properly, that you can really be refueling your body to make the most amount of change on the inside and on the outside. It's phenomenal. Your body is totally worthy of you crafting it. You just got to follow a few variables here and it's totally doable. You're already, I'm guessing, doing it. So let's just keep going. So that's type 1. Type 2 is going to be antagonist muscles. So that means opposing. So let's take, for instance, bicep, tricep. Bicep is a pulling muscle. So usually I would pair back and biceps on the same day because those are both pulling muscles, where pushing muscles are going to be triceps and chest. So you might see triceps and chest paired a lot. So we like those primary and secondary muscles, chest being a primary muscle, triceps secondary, back primary, biceps secondary. So you can see that. But now we're going to put 2 antagonistic muscles back to back. So we might be doing bicep curls into skull crushers, lying on my back, right? So that would be an antagonist superset, rest. Bicep curls, superset into your skull crushers. One that works well for the legs is going to be glutes. And well, the opposing one, here's the difference. You have to understand your glutes and your hamstrings, they work in the same kinetic chain. So I would classify those as, even though they're not the same muscle group, that's like a primary and a secondary muscle. I'd say glutes, the buttocks, are primary and the hamstrings secondary. They're both big muscles, but if we were to put those 2 together, I would say this is your primary, this is your secondary. I really would recommend you never just train your hamstrings and then expect to train your glutes like the next day. So usually you will see hamstrings and glutes paired together or glutes on their own, realizing we will be hitting the hamstrings. So the antagonistic muscles for the backside, that posterior chain, the back part of your body, is the front side, which is your quadriceps, the front part of your leg. So an antagonistic muscle group could be lunges. Now, the type of lunges we're doing is going to depend on it, whether it's quadricep focused or glutes and hamstrings focused. But if you're doing it properly, then it should be mostly glutes and hamstring focused, okay? If you're leaning forward and you've got heavy dumbbells leaning forward, it's going to be more quads focused. But if you are really keeping an upright posture right here and you're stepping nice far and wide. You watch my YouTube videos, watch how I'm doing it, 90-degree angle in the knee, and you're pushing up and under with your glutes rather than leaning forward and using your quad. That's when it's going to be glutes and hamstrings. So maybe I would put leg extensions for quadriceps supersetted with some walking lunges, or supersetted with some ballet squats, which if you're doing it right, again, this is the hard part of legs. It's all about the posturing of that pelvis. So if you have questions on that, make sure you're getting in contact with me so we can talk about that. Everyone's going to be different. It depends on how your body is built, and it depends on, do you have like a neutral pelvis, a posterior tilt, or an anterior tilt, depending on how your body is going to take that, and your learning is going to come down to starting to feel like, oh, if I change this angle, if I change that angle. So be sure that you are really connecting with some of those fitness training videos that I have for you. So with that said, we have primary and same muscle, then we have antagonistic muscles, and the third way is, I really don't know of too many people who do this, but I think it's fantastic. Same exercise, but you change the tempo. So maybe I give you 8 reps of a 2-to-2 tempo, followed by 8 reps of a 4-to-4 tempo. I would classify that as a superset, followed by a rest. So that, what that looks like, you know, let's say, well, let's do a lateral raise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We do all 8 like this, and then if you don't think you're going to finish the next ones, the 4-to-4 with the same amount of weight, and quickly drop the weight, grab the next weights, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I can already tell it's going to burn, right? So you finish all 8 reps at a 4-to-4 tempo. So that's the third type that you may see on your plan. So I want you to look at your plan. I want you to identify, is this a type 1, a type 2, or a type 3? Those classifications of types aren't necessarily classified that way outside of Body Buddies, but here at Body Buddies, where I really like you to understand all the different potential strategies and lifting types, that's what we're going to use to differentiate between our different types of supersets. So I'm just excited for you to go in there. Remember, always print your plan. Use a pen or a pencil. Make notes. How much weight did you do? That's going to keep you accountable. And as you move through week 2, 3, and 4, you're going to be able to beat your weights before. Even if all you do is on week 4, beat the weights from week 1, that's all that matters. 4 weeks, you've got to get after it and attack it, because that's when we see the most changes, when you hit periodized training over and over and over. You have to stick with it that long. Don't vary. Don't get, you know, like, oh, I just want to try something new. No, 4 weeks. Focus your mind. And if for some reason the superset just is out of your ballpark, and you've already tried dropping the weights and you're like, my body is just not there yet, then the best next thing would be separate the 2 exercises. Give yourself 30-second rest in between exercise 1, exercise 2, so 30 seconds there, and then take the full break that's recommended. So I'm excited for you. Let's get after it and superset it up. Power your body, 1 meal, 1 workout, 1 day at a time.